This is the real-life Aquaman. You won't believe what he can do. While an average person can barely hold their breath for 2 minutes, the real-life Aquaman can stay underwater for almost 10 minutes without breaking a sweat. But the most shocking part is his secret for doing it. His name is Tavi Castro, and he's the only person on Earth who truly deserves to be called the king of the ocean. Although he can't talk to fish or has gills, Castro has a physique as strong as the character in the movie. That's why he's able to push his limits and do things that are simply impossible for ordinary people, like the time he dove more than 98 feet deep and came back to the surface as if nothing had happened. But Castro isn't an ordinary person. In fact, he's the only person in the world with this superpower. If an average person tried to do that, they would definitely feel unwell and might even risk their life. He can easily handle the pressure changes in his body and barely feels the temperature fluctuations in the water, which is no easy feat. Even on the warmest days, the ocean floor can be extremely cold, reaching nearly 3 degrees below freezing. And the most amazing part is that he does all of this while moving underwater, which is much harder than just holding your breath while standing still. But how does he manage to do that? From a young age, Tavi Castro was not an ordinary person. He's always been extremely passionate about adventure and nature. That's why he's always had an athletic body and is extremely good at almost every type of sport. It was because of this that he discovered his superpower of inflating his lungs with enough oxygen to explore the ocean floor. In one of his adventures, Castro decided to test himself and jumped from a waterfall over 43 feet high in Costa Rica. But unfortunately, everything went wrong. During the fall, he ended up breaking one of his legs and had to go to the hospital. This changed Castro's life forever. Since his leg was severely injured, he was forced to stay inactive for over 6 months, which he didn't like at all. To solve the problem, he started looking for other sports that wouldn't strain him too much and would help him stay in shape. It was during this time that he discovered swimming, and from then on, he spent most of his days underwater. But the truth is, it wasn't easy at all. After all, it was while swimming that he ended up in the hospital. That's why he set a challenge to overcome his trauma, to hold his breath and dive as deep as possible. But what he didn't know was that his body was perfect for it. He quickly got used to the water pressure and can now easily dive to the depths of the ocean. In fact, recently he raised the challenge and now wants to reach 328 feet deep with virtually no equipment. As amazing as it may sound, one of the biggest challenges he faces right now is actually sinking. It turns out that going so deep into the ocean and coming back is extremely difficult, which is why he's been spending a lot of time at the gym lately. These days, he trains in deep pools, and with his muscles, it's very likely he'll reach his goal soon. Recently, the swimmer shared that his personal best was reaching a depth of 246 feet. But what's the secret to holding your breath for so long? As incredible as it may seem, it's actually really simple. According to the swimmer, he practices holding his breath for a few minutes every day. And since he's been doing this for years, he's become the real-life Aquaman.